What's up and welcome to the Sisterhood Corner. Thank you so much for joining me here. To the newbies, welcome. I see 12 of you are now subscribers. I take it's the loyal people from the original blog, which was on our website, the Sisterhood Corner, which unfortunately crashed. And we lost quite a lot of the stuff we'd already worked on. Luckily, though, I still had some letters that I hadn't uploaded. But also, once that crashed, I started thinking about how a lot of you did mention that I needed to come to YouTube because people are tired of reading through copy. So I guess the universe heard you. So here we are. To the newbies, this is basically what people call an agony column. So with each week, I try and read a couple of letters, from women who want assistance with dilemmas, different dilemmas they're in. And I try and offer them the best advice I can and then throw the rest to the comment section for other women to advise. So it's quite an interactive platform like that. So I will be putting my email address in the comments so that, as well as on my TikTok, just so that you guys can sort of, those who want to send their letters can do so going forward. So we can obviously grow back the platform to what it was before the crushing of the whole system. But we're here now. We can't cry over spilt milk, so we shall start with the very first letter. I just thought I'd obviously put that as an intro before reading the letter, because I think then the new people will be a bit shocked as to what this is. All right. Without wasting time, let's get into the first letter. So also another thing is that with the letters, some of the letters I'll receive in Venex, some of the letters I'll receive, in different formats. So my job then is to sit down and try and put it together in a format, that I can easily follow. All right. And obviously correct any spelling mistakes and that kind of thing. So that's part of it. That's why it's in writing, because then it's easier for me to read it out. Okay. Right. I'm going to start with the first one. This is from a former OnlyFans girl. Hi, please keep me anonymous, she says. I'm a woman in her 30s with a son from a previous relationship. I had my son straight out of completing my high school, so my parents told me to go straight to work to support my child. With only a high school qualification, work was hard to come by. So to avoid the daily bickering with my parents, I took my child and moved in with a friend whose parents had passed on, leaving her the house. After a few months of her assisting me financially, she suggested a solution. The solution was that I should start selling my naked pictures anonymously to make an income. Now this worked. Money started to come in, and slowly but surely I started, helping out in the house with whatever necessities. But above and beyond, at least I could take care of my son. As that went on and we realized, this is really making money, I decided then to be, what does she say? Oh, I agreed for her to introduce me to yet another platform. And this platform at this point was called OnlyFans. At this point, OnlyFans was not as saturated as it is now. But, once you built your own client base, that sort of thing, you could actually make some money. So as a result, the more regular clients you had, the more money you made. This worked incredibly. I did this for quite a long time. I could take care of my child. I eventually bought myself a home in an estate. And of course, my child went to a private school. At this point, only my friend knew about this. My family knew nothing. This is a job that they had no idea I did. But they would see me coming back home to say, well, I have a job and I'm doing exceptionally well, but they did not know what I did for a living. Fast forward, once I'd accumulated what I had, I still felt like, this is not what I want to do for the rest of my life. Therefore, I went back to school. I studied. After studying, I eventually got a corporate job. That meant leaving OnlyFans. Now, in my mind, I thought I'd left that life behind. I left it behind, so I thought. I met an amazing man 2 years ago. He adores me and he adores my son. The problem started when he introduced me to his family. I was invited to a family lunch, and across the table sat one of my former regular clients when I was an OnlyFans babe. That person, his brother. Though we acted like we didn't know each other, as he also was with his wife, my whole world came crashing down. Now, my man intends paying lobola for me pretty soon. And though this is what I want, I'm worried about what the future holds. I love this man, and I've successfully turned my life around. OnlyFans was years ago, in my past. Does this mean the chickens have come to roost? Is this my karma? What was done in the dark will sure come to light type of moment? Please help. I can't lose this man. He's the most amazing being I've ever been with. Do you think he would be able to forgive my past? Could he ever make peace with the fact that his brother and I have seen each other naked? Phew. Wow. Okay. Now, as I was reading the letter, I made a few more points, but I think that we all know what she needs to do. First of all, congratulations on turning your life around. I think that it's quite something to start off on what people would call the wrong footing, but still manage to turn your life around and get to where you are. I think it's not a small thing, and I think you should give yourself a pat in the back. And how you got there at this point, I don't think it's something you need to be ashamed of, but I think that it's something that forms a part of your journey, and it is what it is. With that having been said, I would say lead with the truth. Whatever you do, lead with the truth. This man will find out eventually. If it's not through his brother, it might be at a function. He might take you to a work function and you bump into one of your other former clients. And then what is this? You know what I mean? And at that point, once he finds out through one of your clients, perhaps by mistake, whichever way he would have found out, your brother-in-law, trust me, will add on. He's not going to keep quiet. So I would say before the man pays lobola, just break it down to him and explain everything to him. And if he leaves, then it is what it is. But you would hate to start a marriage on a lie. You'd absolutely hate that, because I can promise you almost 99.9% of the time, the secret eventually reveals itself and it gets ugly. And be mindful of the fact that in this day that we live in, we have what we call GBV in South Africa. So you don't know how the man is going to react after he pays lobola for you, and only then does he find out. And it's not through you, but through the brother. Now, you don't go into detail about whether you and the brother had a conversation about this afterwards, whether you guys sat down and said, listen, this cannot come out, or what the story is, because he's also married, like you say. And you also don't tell me a lot more about, the OnlyFans part, whether it was more physical or if it was just online, because those factors will obviously, they will count. You're dealing with the man's ego. So whichever way you look at it, you're dealing with the man's ego. Those things are going to count. So my suggestion to you would be, listen, just tell the truth. Tell the truth. I mean, he will get angry, but maybe once he's cooled off and he's seen the life you've created for yourself afterwards, and you're now, a corporate hun, and you are really doing well for yourself, he might cool off and come back. But whatever you do, lead with the truth. And like I said, once again, I don't know if you guys have gotten physical with the brother or what the story was. Like you said, he's seen you naked. So I don't know if it was just he's seen you naked online or what the story is. Okay. Because he probably also, the brother could be in a bit of a stress factor himself. Maybe also start by having that conversation with the brother as well, because he could also be under stress, because remember, he's also married. But I will say this: if it's a secret that both of you choose to keep, sure, you better make sure, because I can promise you, him as the brother, he doesn't want. It's something weird about men, and once they know something like that about either a friend of theirs or their brother, they don't view you as somebody who's wife material. That's a fact. As hard as that's probably going to be hard to swallow. So it's if I were you, I would tell this guy, and I will level with him, and then give him time to go and digest and think about it. If he still wants to continue with the lobola, be prepared to go through his emotions once you are married, because it won't just go away just like that. But then again, I can't judge the man. I don't know him. But I know your relationship as you know it now, that phase of your relationship is over. Now, what needs to be rebirthed is the new phase. Whether it's the phase that includes him or not, I guess that will be decided by you telling him the truth. But yeah, good luck. I hope this helps. Check out the comments. I'm pretty sure people will give their 2 cents in there. And yeah, good luck.